Okay, so we're reviewing parallelograms, trapezoids, rhombuses, and kites. We have a parallelogram here, right? So opposite angles are congruent, so you should be able to tell me what angle X is right away. 110. Okay, down here we have a square. So how are we going to solve this one? To what value? 90, yes. So you can set up your equation, 19x minus 5 equals 90, right? And solve. Yeah, I don't know why I put 95 there. Okay, so that's plus 5. So we have 95. We get x equals 95 divided by 19. Did anybody do that math? 5. Okay. So double check it. Make sure 19 times 5 minus 5 actually gives you 90 for that value. Let's look down at the next one, number 3. We're trying to find, this is a quadrilateral. I don't think we can make any assumptions about it other than that. How are we going to figure out what angle n's measure is? Any ideas? Nobody has any ideas. What is the sum of all the interior angles of a quadrilateral? That's a triangle. 360. Okay, so we're going to add up all of those values. We know 2 of them as actual numbers. The others are equations. We're going to add all of those together. If I can actually write today. Okay. Now what do we do? Combine our like terms on the left side and then move things around. So hopefully you guys have a calculator. I have one too. You guys should be shouting out answers, not just sitting there eating Cheetos or something. Okay. Goldfish. Okay. So I combined all of these. 74 plus 84 plus 8 plus 12. That is 178. How about the x's? Can somebody combine those for me? 26x. Okay. Now what do we have to do? Subtract 178. 360 minus 178 is 182 equals 26x. So x equals 7. But are we done? No. No, we're not, right? Because we have to take our value of x and plug it in for the equation for n. So what is the measure of n? 14 times 7 plus 12 is 110. Okay, so now we figured out n equals 110 degrees. Okay, this is a parallelogram. How are we going to figure out what L is? How did you know that? Because consecutive angles are what? Yes. That is like using the reflexive property. We don't need to do that. I actually need you to relate it to it. They are supplementary, right? So they add up to 180, right? So then you took 180 minus 70 and you got 110, right? So angle L is 110, right? Okay. 5. Looks like we have a parallelogram. Yeah, it says it is. Solve for x. But we have to take that number you just said and add it to 63. What value do we get? Okay, so that's 120. 130. And it, what? It's 130? Okay. 67 plus 63. Now I gotta check you guys. Okay, so it is 130. This is 130. How are we going to figure out what x is? How are we going to figure out what t measures? Yep, so this is 50. Now we can set up our equation, right? Yep. X equals 12. Okay, so we solve for x. That's all it asked for. It didn't want that. Well, we already know the measure of that angle. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Number 6, find the measurement indicated in each parallelogram. LE and EN. What do we know about the diagonals of a parallelogram? No, they don't. No, they don't.
400. They have 500.
They bisect each other. So you can say LE and EN are congruent. KE and EM are congruent, right? So since we are trying to find LE's measure, we're going to set what does this mean? LE equals EN. So now plug in those values, right? 12 plus X equals 3X minus 2. Following? Sure? Okay.
No.
No?
7. That's right.
So X equals 7. Yep. So plug it in. It should be 12 plus 7 is 19. Sometimes 3 is 21 minus 2 is 19. So is 19 equal 19? Yes, it works. Okay, so now you're having to remember these properties for things, right? Diagonals, opposite angles, consecutive angles. Okay. Now we have a trapezoid. What is it asking for? I'm assuming XY is the mid-segment or median. That means the same thing. What is our equation that we can use to figure out the median of a trapezoid? Nobody knows. You've only been doing this 2 days. Okay, so we add the bases, multiply by 2, or half, divide by 2, I should say, or multiply by a half, and that is our median. So what are we going to plug in here? Nothing? We're plugging nothing in because nobody knows. Okay, so we're adding the bases. 10 plus 20, 10.4 plus 20 is 30.4. Boys, I got you on video. You don't need to know how to do this one. Okay, I'll make sure I put like 20 of these questions. Okay, so the value of the median is 15.2. Add up the bases, divide by 2, that gives you the value. Okay, these should not be surprises by now. How are we going to solve for this trapezoid? We are looking for X. So I'm going to assume these are our bases, right? These are the parallel sides. Okay, these are consecutive angles because these are parallel. They should be supplementary. They should add up to 180. Or what's another? Okay, so if we do it that way, you could set it up 6x plus 19 plus 95 equals 180. Or you could say this angle is going to equal 180 minus 95, which I think is the easier way to do it. So I'm going to set up this equation. 6x plus 19 equals 85 and solve. So 85 minus 19, oops, is 66. Glad it was that number. Okay, so now X is going to equal 11, right? So 11 times 6 is 66 plus 19 gives us 85. 85 plus 95 should equal 180, and it does. So it checks. Okay, so we have another trapezoid. We have to find what X is, right? And then find the length of the base that it's asking for. So again, you're using 1/2 equals, whoops, not equals, times base 1 plus base 2 is equal to the median, right? So I'm going to say this is base 1 and this is base 2. And this is our median. Okay, so over here you'll have x plus 4 plus 21 all in a group equals x plus 7. I'm going to combine what's in the parentheses that we can do that. So that's x plus 25. 1/2 of that Have I lost anybody? Yeah, you guys have turned your brains off. A half plus 12.5 equals x plus 7. Okay. This is x. I should have wrote 1/2 x. Okay, so now I'm subtracting 12.5. And then I'm going to I'm going to subtract x. Subtract x. I do 2 steps at once. Okay, so don't get confused. My writing's bad. This is 1/2 x minus x will give us negative, I'm going to convert it to a decimal, negative 1/2 x. This cancels out. And then we have on this side, negative 12.5 plus 7. So it should give us negative 5.5. Take a negative, divide by a negative, we get a positive. So negative 5.5 divided by negative 0.5 should give us, okay, did I get that? I don't think I got that. Yep, 11. I keep getting 11. So 0.5 times 11. Am I wrong? Okay, yeah. So that should be 11 for x, but it wants the value of DE, but we're not done, right? So DE is equal to x plus 4, so that's 11 plus 4 equals 15. Final answer, right? Yeah. But it was mainly just plugging things in, being able to look at the picture and know what. Okay, we have 4 more questions. We have, what is this figure? It's a rhombus, right? Because all the sides are congruent. So what's the value of this side is asking for? Yep, 7. We have a rhombus. How are we going to figure out what x is? Set up a nice equation. I don't know why Henry would multiply by 2, but the answer is 2. By 2. That's what you meant? Okay. So x equals 2. Henry skips multiple steps. Okay, let's look at this one. We have, what is this figure called? So the J, I think this is a kite, right? So we have the sides that are consecutive that are congruent, but the opposite sides aren't congruent. So this is a kite. So we need to find UT. If RT is 34, so these should, I think, bisect each other, right? They bisect each other. So if RT is 34, how are we going to figure out what UT is? It's probably half of that, right? So UT would be 34 divided by 2. These boys have turned their brains off. 17, right? Okay, 2 more problems. 2 minutes left in my video. Okay, so we have RA is equal to 24. AP is 3x plus 6. So set up 20, I can't write. 24 equals 3x plus 6 because they're congruent, right? So then subtract 18 equals 3x, x equals 6. Okay, 14 is our last one. What is the value of angle K? 90, right? So 13, 12 was 17, 13 was 6, and 14 is 90. Now you're repeating. All of this, 15 and after, is your assignment, okay?
All got to do it.
The rest of the hour.
Wait, it only has to do so it's like 37.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even do half.
Are you guys complaining? You got 22 questions. You can get it done. Some of them are really fast. 22 questions. Turn it in tomorrow. Quit whining.